Hello and what is up, guys? Right here, and welcome back to some more automation and BeamNG.Drive. Today we are continuing off our series of making the fastest cars in the world in their given production time of other fast cars in the world. So today we are pretty much going to be making a better McLaren F1, which I know is literally an impossible task because you can't beat the McLaren F1. But today we're going to try to at least beat the top speed of that wonderful car. We are starting the year 1998 with the tech from 1998. We're going to be doing this body today. So this 1987 Acura NSX style sport coupe body for our supercar. I wanted to use either this body up here or the Lamborghini body up here, but I've used them both in videos before, and I thought, well, heck, let's use a different body for once. So we're going to be doing this body. We're going to be doing either the short body or the long body. I'm not too sure yet. We'll start off with the short because, of course, that's better. Full, of course, carbon fiber monocoque. The chance, I don't know if the chance to use carbon fiber, we'll leave it HS steel for now. We're shooting for around 2,500 pounds, similar to the McLaren F1, with around, I think it's around 620 or so horsepower. We're going to, of course, do a naturally aspirated V12, because what else would you do, you know? We're going to do mid-transverse to start. I might change that, because I think we have a bit more room in the transverse configuration. The McLaren F1 actually had double wishbone suspension. I can't tell if it was just front or just rear or both. It just says double wishbone. I'm just gonna go pushrod because pushrod is more race car. Unless we can get away with more room with double wishbone and stuff, but I think we're fine here. So new engine, that's fine. 60-degree V12, all aluminum. Or actually, should we go 4 or 5 valve? We're gonna go 5 valve in this case. We're not making a McLaren F1 replica. We're making our own car here. We're actually a little bit too big for. Oh no, yeah, for a little bit too big overall. If we can actually lower this down here, we'll make it a big strokey boy, and we will make it. Gotta make it fit here. I will check though to see if 6.8 liters is actually too big. We'll bring it down to not 5 liters. I mean 6.3. That I was hoping for 6.2 liters, so just one size up, or even 6 liters. We can make it smaller than McLaren F1. We can make it like that, yeah. Let's lower down the stroke and give it a bigger bore. Here, 6 liters sounds honestly pretty fine to me. Now we make it if it's longitudinal, is it gonna fit? We'll have less room. I think we're gonna have less room, right? Yeah, we're gonna have less room. So we're gonna do transverse, which it's kind of weird for the McLaren F1, I think. That's okay though. We're gonna lower this down just a bit and then increase this to make up for that. So a 6-liter V12 engine, which is a little bit smaller than the 6.1. I think it's 6.1 in the McLaren F1. Of course, fully forged. Now with this car, it's sitting around the $2 million probably mark. I'm gonna guess around $2 million is what I'm shooting for. It's gonna be a very expensive car, maybe around 1 million, maybe more. Maybe less. I'm going to bring this up to a solid 80 for now, and 11-to-1 compression, 11.1, which is McLaren F1's. Injection, multi-point, first cylinder. Now, I wonder if we want to use performance or race. Because this is not a race, this is the street version of a race car, right? Premium gas. I might go race, I might not. We'll see. Race tubular headers, because this, you know, the engine's very similar. Actually, I think the engine is more powerful on the street version than on the race version. Because they have, like, I think there's a strict horsepower limit on the race version, I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. Let's just assume I'm right. Wow, 358 horsepower. That's awful. That's okay though. We are not caring about fuel at all. 415 horse. We're actually making okay torque right now. Not bad at all. Actually make this right up higher. 8,000 RPM. So not 2,000, not 10,000, 8,000 RPM, which is probably McLaren F1-esque. I haven't checked that yet. So we can actually increase this a bit. Let's just do it to that. So we are having 480 horsepower at 8,000 RPM. Maybe we can probably get some good. Yeah, I think we'll have to go raced, and we might need bigger exhausts. We are just poking the engine right now. 660 horsepower, so we're already making, I think, more horsepower and more torque than the McLaren F1. Let's actually double check here, just so I know I'm right, right? McLaren F1, so 6.1 liter with 618 horse and 5. And doesn't say the torque here, but the engine weighed. Wow, the engine weighed 186 pounds, so we're actually lighter than McLaren F1's V12 engine, probably because we're smaller, and you know, we have race headers and stuff, so I'm assuming that's a bit lighter. I haven't actually checked, and 480 pound-feet of torque, so we're actually a bit short on torque, but a bit, you know, a bit higher on horsepower, which I'm okay with that, honestly. We can actually put a bit higher, and probably lower this a bit, just because. Yeah, blow it down just a bit. 75 sounds fine. We can increase fuel because here's about fuel. 17% efficiency, not awful for a multi-million-dollar supercar. 11.3 to 1, 650 or so horsepower. We're making more torque now. 653 horsepower, 400 and whatever pound-feet. 466. Let's slow this down just a bit here. And a little more fuel. Even numbers. Really. This is really getting me right now. Well, we're almost there. I wanted to get even numbers if we can make my day. There. 495 pound-feet of torque and 655 horsepower. So we have the McLaren F1 beat in horsepower and torque. Next is, of course, the body. Rear-wheel drive like a proper car. 6-speed manual. I mean, viscous, limited slip tip, gear limited slip tip. Gear limited slip is probably fine. Semi-slicks. Do we want to see just sports tires? I might change it, I might not. A bit bigger though. Sure. Doing here. And I actually think the McLaren had. Again, don't quote me on this. I'm reading part of the Wikipedia article, partly not reading it because I'm making a video. Obviously, I did some research. Clearly not enough. I think the rims were different sizes, front and rear. 19 inches, probably 20 inches. 19 is going to be what we get. The right tire size. Oh no, we actually need to go down to 18. And we'll offset that just a bit. Alloy wheels. I might go magnesium on my non-vented discs. I like having the biggest brakes possible because they look good and they are functional. Fully clad, no cooling flaps because who cares about fuel economy. At this car, I could make it a 3-seater, but technically that's a bench. It's a bench. It's not 3 individual bucket seats, really, I guess. We'll leave it just as a 2-seater, so it's similar. It's going to be sport, probably. No entertainment sounds fine. Hydraulic. We'll have traction aids, yes. I will lower the safety down probably to standard 90s because this thing wasn't the safest car. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't a safe car. I mean, it was safe relative to other supercars and hypercars at the time and stuff, but it wasn't that safe of a car. Progressive for weight saving. It's progressive, semi-active, semi-active. So 2,500 pounds. We are basically the same weight as McLaren F1 with a bit more horsepower, a bit more torque. Top speed of just 200 kilometers an hour because the gearing is just hilarious. And our goal to beat is about 250 miles an hour, so you can gear this to 400 and we'll lower this down to 350. So what are we hit 350 here? So we're hitting 340. We can hit 340 right now. 3.3 seconds, 0 to 60, which, you know, not terrible, but we're not hitting our goal yet. I don't think we're hitting our goal yet. It's definitely not good. We gotta hit 349 kilometers an hour. That was the Jaguars. We have to hit 240 miles per hour. If I'm looking at the world's fastest production car Wikipedia page, which is, you know, I'm using Wikipedia as the same source for basically everything. McLaren F1 on Wikipedia quotes this in the world's fastest production car page at 221 miles an hour, 355 kilometers an hour. So if we can beat that, I'll be happy. Of course, I want to beat that by even a bit more. The gear limited slip is fine. We could do change the gearing just a bit more. First gear can take us all the way to 80 kilometers an hour. Line ratio here. We're taking the car to 340 or 5 or so kilometers an hour. Then again, we have no slider increase yet at all. Increase the this and wheels. And I think magnesium is something we want for the wheels. This seems to be a light boy, lighter than the McLaren. Okay, 353 is the estimated top speed of the car. And we're going to increase basically everything because speed points. Brakes, let's increase that too. We can actually probably make them less pistons. I think we'll just do 2 pistons in the rear. That's probably going to suffice. And make this a bit more equally balanced. Braking, under 2,400 pounds. This thing is Mazda Miata weight-ish. A little about the same weight as a modern Mazda Miata with, of course, Lamborghini performance. It's crazy. 3.2 seconds, 0 to 60 in the 1990s is fantastic. You know, regardless of what you make of it, we're gonna actually increase this. Plus 5 is we can go 2,100. Oh, this thing can be a very light boy. Ooh, I don't know if I want to be that light. We would crush the record probably for less. Only 186,000. Oh, this is just sadly cheaper. Then again, I feel like this game is just assuming that this is like a mass market car and you're gonna try to produce lots. If this is just like a very rare exotic car, we have no aero right now, obviously. Then again, the McLaren F1 didn't have any wings or anything. It just had front aero and stuff. I think the basics of the car done. I might tweak it. Estimated top speed of 355 or so kilometers an hour. I don't think we can hit that just yet, though. I think it'll be close, so we can't hit that just yet. I will play around with the gearing and stuff. We'll lower this down. Probably 357. 300, so 358 is the estimated top speed. I mean, 400 is the 405 is the estimated top speed, but gearing is taking us to 360 or so kilometers an hour, which is, by my article's, rule, it is faster than a McLaren F1. So we'll see how it does. I want to, of course, be better than that. 3.1 seconds, 0 to 60 is phenomenal. We have no engines here, actually. We can make an even more powerful engine, I think. Definitely a very, very light boy engine. I wish you could actually get revs of this thing, because I like to rev. 8,000 RPM. We were making peak power right at 8, but I mean, it makes peak really just under 8, and it's sort of, it makes peak horsepower actually at 7,800. So it says 8, but it's, it's just staying there. We could increase the revs. Then again, the McLaren F1 is supposed to be reliable. And we're really screwing reliability, but the reliability is only getting screwed if we're going over 8,000 RPM, right? That's not the end of the world. We're still doing okay, I guess. We got some fuel we can use here. 690 horsepower, 520 pound-feet of torque. This is faster than a McLaren F1 for sure. I'll do that only because this car's not going to be used in a race, really. And so at 10% engine stress over 8,500. If they're in a race, I'm sure the engines could rev even higher, but they're just, they're fine. It's fine. They just don't rev that high. It's fine. Wait, where does peak power get made? Peak power gets made, I mean, basically, at 7,500. That's okay. It's not perfect. I don't make perfect cars, guys. If you wanted the perfect car, I'm not the place for that. We're just having fun here making a car. 360 or so is what we're estimating top speed to be. 363, which is acceptable. I think the car is acceptable in this state. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to tweak the engine, suspension, all the stuff about the car. I'll tell you guys what I tune while I'm actually doing the time-lapse, as well as design this car. It's not going to be a McLaren F1, because I think it's one of the most beautiful cars ever. It's just such a good-looking car. It's not going to be the most beautiful, but it's going to be a performance car nonetheless. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, so we are starting the build for our McLaren F1 Challenger. Of course, we're using the Agera NSX, Honda NSX body. First things first, headlights and what to do with them. So we are doing similar headlights to my previous Starzashi vehicles. Yes, this is going to be a Starzashi. Of course, it's the NSX body, so it might as well be a Japanese branded car. These are similar headlights to Starzashis. It is a 3-bulb headlight. Remember, guys, this is the 1990s here. Headlights, weren't always as advanced, but Starzashi was known for their awesome headlight technology. Continuing on the front end here, we are adding some eyelashes and basically layers to the headlights, as well as we added some vents, some other body lines into the hood as well, and the front grille is nearly complete already. We are also add another light above the headlights, so it's still in the same headlight housing, but above the headlights, playing with some colors now, basically. Just trying to figure out how we want to have turn signals, and I actually end up having a sort of angry looking front end headlights with some turn signals above it, and then a bottom front splitter to separate the black and the red and stuff. Of course, the black is carbon fiber. It's my own black carbon fiber trim that I made, the color that I made. Adding a side skirt, pretty easy for this car. This car already basically has a scoop there, so I just added the side skirt. Then I'm coming around to the roof now, adding some roof vents, pretty much taking air into the mid-engine because this is a mid-engine supercar. Just playing around with the front end. I also changed the rims and adding some more feature points to the car. Now I'm working on the door handles, and this car I actually made my own door handles because I didn't like any of the ones that came with the game. I don't know how they'd work, but they look pretty cool, so I'll leave it at that. Back end, and I found this back end a little bit trickier. I wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to do this because this is a Japanese car. It is going to be Starzashi branded, one of my, car brands in quotations. I don't know exactly how to brand it design-wise, but I wanted to keep it as similar to my other Starzashi vehicles, with, of course, being a bit different. So it's got the triple taillight setup, similar to the Starzashi. I think it's called the Stallion, I want to say. It's the Starzashi something, the Settler, which is my sleeper car, a full-size sedan. This is a Starzashi SGT 250, as you can see at the top. SGT, Super Grand Touring. Sure, why not? The car does have a giant wing. I did say I didn't really want a wing, but I did figure put a wing on there because it looks a lot better. Playing around with the tuning and stuff like that as well. I played around with the aero, so the car actually makes pretty good aero. Finally, just tuning some suspension, and now we have it in front of us, the all new for 1998 Starzashi SGT 230. Alright guys, so in front of us again is the completed Starzashi SGT 230. Now before we jump into BeamNG.Drive, I just want to quickly go over the design of the car and why it was designed, how it was designed, not during the build, but other features. So front end, again, the headlights are similar to my previous Starzashi cars, pretty much like a square seal beam headlight. In this case, it is very, very, very big. You can tell here, it's very, very, very big. Then it does get cut off here with a black piece of trim, and then it gets some turn signals just above it. Because I wanted to have just triple headlights, which would be pretty cool. The McLaren F1 has like two kind of headlights as triple. You gotta always one up the car, right? The grille down here, the big whole bottom, the front fascia section is very similar to my Starzashi Stallion sedan, but mid-size compact sport sedan, I guess, from the 1990s. So it's a very similar-ish front end. The only reason why Starzashi came out with this is because they saw McLaren was doing such a great job, and they decided we can do better for less. You know, is that their slogan? I don't know. Why not? The front has some other similar features, of course. Instead of having a bulge in the middle like the Starzashi Stallion, it's got the bulge on the edges of the headlights, which is really, really different. I think it looks surprisingly, it's interesting. I think it works. Then some sort of vents in the front here instead of on the sides of the grills, the other side. Say normal sort of front splitter system here. We have like a black piece of trim. It's actually a bumper, but it's a piece of trim in my book. And then we have a red splitter under there. The side we have some nice unilug or single lug nut wheels, pretty much race wheels, because this is a race car for the road. And then a nice giant looking vent over here. Again, custom door handles there that I made just because I think they look kind of interesting. I'm not sure how they'd work still, but it's cool nonetheless. Maybe like you like push one and like the other one pops up and you pull it. I don't know. Who knows? The mirrors, pretty rudimentary mirrors. Black roof, black trim. You can tell it's black carbon fiber, like black. Then a triple sort of vent system feeding air into the engine in the back. There's no vents actually on the hood here. Actually, this is an actual hood bulge I have in the back here. Kind of like how it looks. The wing does actually have some downforce. Not a ton of downforce. Only 167.5 pounds. Downforce at 367 kilometers an hour. So obviously not that much downforce. This is a top speed car. This is not a track version. Looking at the bottom here, so we'll start at the bottom. You have a massive quad exhaust tips. This car sounds phenomenal. You guys will hear in a sec. A sort of rear diffuser setup here. Some fake grills. These grills don't actually, they're not functional. And I could have made them actual grills. I chose not to have them, just have them painted black, like the carbon fiber texture, because you know you don't need all these grills in this car, and it's fine. You already have enough air going up there. Maybe there's air coming at the bottom too, and there's some air coming here, etc. So we have a triple stacked taillight setup similar to the Starzashi Settler, but different. I'm not going to post pictures of the rear ends of the cars because it's fine. Go watch the Starzashi Settler video. It is my my 1990s sleeper car. I'll post a link in the description of the video. You'll see on the right here we have some weird looking, definitely different than the previous Starzashi models. This is the turn signal housing basically. It does flow with the rest of the sort of top rear fascia thing. Then we have one big SGT logo because, you know, Starzashi, the brand, is really proud of what they made for the 1990s. So let them have this. So yeah, the car's done. It meets all the boxes. It's better than all. It checks all the boxes and some, to be honest. What a 10-second quarter mile. It seems fast. That seems fast for sure. I don't know if it's fast for 700 horsepower, but it's fast for in general. So yeah, let's take a look in BeamNG.Drive. I'll see you guys there in 1 second. All right, guys. So we're here in BeamNG.Drive with the Starzashi SGT 230. Before we actually test if it can do 230 miles an hour or 370 or so kilometers an hour, we're going to take it around the automation test track full loop to see if this thing performs or drives as well as it looks, you know, hopefully. I'm not going to be racing this to its fullest because I'm still getting used to my steering wheel. If it's not perfect, that's okay. I've actually done some testing with this car already. It is very riley. It likes to kick out. The tires are definitely small by today's standards. 315s in the rear for a 700 horsepower car. Seems a bit small to me. We're doing this in the cockpit sort of view this time because it's a little bit easier to drive. And it does sound fantastic though. That's a positive. Going to this turn, braking easy here. A little more throttle. More throttle. Hit the third before we take this turn. Nice and even here. Crossing over here. Get some gas. We're gonna brake just a bit here and turn in. More gas and then brake. We're gonna brake even harder here. So second. And nice and gently. Oh. Oh, those upshifts and downshifts, man. She gets real. We're gonna touch in a second here. Just nice and slow. Definitely gets swirly when you're shifting. The power is all made up the high revs, and of course when you're shifting, we're just revving it up because I'm not clutching properly, but that's okay. Brake just a bit here. Because this thing is... Oh, we're going to gravel. That's not good. We're good. We're fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. Brake just a bit more here. Oh. We're good. We're good. Oh, she's slipping. We're good. Brake a little more. Brake a little more. And we're going to go to... Oh, wow. That was a fast stop. Well, we're spinning out. That's okay. We're good. We're good. We're fine. We're fine. We're going to keep going here. That's okay, though. We're not going for record times this course. We're not going for record times. You'll see if ahead of why. Have we passed this check mark yet? There we go. You'll see if ahead why we're not going for record timing. And of course, I can't drive, but, you'll see just up ahead why I can't go for record times. So we're taking this nice and slow because I'm a little baby here, but that's okay. This is why. I don't know why my map's doing this, but honestly it makes me smile every time I see it. It's just so weird. And if you hit this, look at, oh, watch. We'll hit it. You can't go through it. We're gonna back up here. Go around. I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't judge. We're in 2 minutes by now, but that's okay. This car is around a 2-minute car from the actual speed test I've timed, and you know, trying to get around that big barricade too, but around 2 minutes. Of course, I'm not the best driver, so I'm sure you guys can do a lot better. Doing a nice break early here. Curving around here, crossing over. Oh, we're spinning out. We're fine, we're fine. I really wish these paddles on the steering wheel were actually fixed. It'd be a lot better. But, what you get for a $250 steering wheel? I should get a professional wheel, shouldn't I? No. Kidding. A solid 3 minutes, worse than an Econo box, I think, even. That's okay. We're not in the leaderboard, that's fine. Are we in the leaderboard? Look, 204 is our best. That's with our Quaranta Series 65 supercar made in the past. That was not a record setter, that was a competition for Canadian steel. Well, we're actually in here. Comparative times to my Lexus IS 350, which I designed, I think. Great. Perfect. Yeah. Oh, the S-Talk GT. Wow, which is Canadian Steel's huge GT car. Actually, a better time. I mean, that's fine. So now we're going to jump into a open map and just see if this thing can actually hit 230 miles an hour or 370 kilometers an hour. Just be back in 1 sec, guys. Okay, so we're here. We're going to take off traction control. We are at just a pure grid map. The car actually looks pretty good. It looks very aggressive. I like it. Pretty 90s-esque. A little modern in the front, I think, and a little bit different in the rear. That's okay. We're gonna go for a top speed run. We're gonna take it nice and slow though, because this thing has a tendency just to spin. By nice and slow, I mean, you know, foot to the floor, of course. I mean, it sounds great though. $280. Easy. 310, nice and easy, still going. We're going for 370 kilometers an hour or so, about 230 miles an hour. I hope you guys can hear me fine. It's deafening for me at least. We're in the final gear. There's only 6 gears. 360, still going. 365, 367. Come on. There we're 370, 371. Oh, it's gliding. Oh, we're shaking here. Oh boy, that's not good. We're slowing down. It's over 370. It loses all grip. It doesn't even know where it is anymore. We're gonna go a little higher. We're gonna do a little bit of a slowdown here. Actually, I'm just gonna respawn the car. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna time it myself here. So right now we are. You're not gonna hear any audio for a second. That's okay. 1 minute 30. So I'm gonna go 0 to 300 to 0. See if it can actually be a record for that. Let's see how fast we can get for that. So we're gonna start. Once I go, we're gonna start. That doesn't work like that. See, you can't go for fast. You can't go for quick acceleration with this thing. We're gonna try nice and slow. Okay, so we're gonna go for a 0 to 300 to 0, and see what we can do. Once I start, you guys can time yourself. So I'm gonna see if we can beat something a lot quicker than what we have. Definitely short shifting, that's okay. Full stopping now, full stopping. ABS is kicking in, and we're done. I don't know how fast that was, but I'll check in just 1 second. Alright, so I quickly found out a Koenigsegg Agera Rs, which is, I think, the fastest car in the world still, for the record. World's fastest car, because Bugatti is an official record. That thing did 0 to 300 kilometers an hour to 0 in 22 seconds, which is, you know, pretty incredible because we did it in about 30 seconds. Definitely a pretty decent car. So yeah, the car handles pretty good. The car looks pretty good. I'm actually very satisfied with the looks. I'd say this is one of my better, more well-rounded designs. I give myself a front score of 8, my side score of 8, which is probably pretty high on the side score scale. I think it's nice and clean and it's aesthetic. Rear score of 8, so I'd say overall a pretty good score. This is not how I'm gonna actually judge your guys' cars in the subscriber car series. I might just have like a 1 to 10 scale and what you can improve on. My opinion, 1 to 10, right? Because my opinion, you know, doesn't mean anything. Who am I, right? What do I know about cars? I don't know anything about cars. I'm just a guy who plays video games. So, anyways, guys, that's all for this world's fastest car video. We have successfully beat the McLaren F1. We've actually smashed the McLaren F1 for a fraction of the price, literally half the price for more performance. Definitely, probably a more unsafe car on the road. But that's okay. Besides the point. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you next time.